to Deep Sleep Stories. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. If these stories help you relax or fall asleep, a short review, comment, or sharing the podcast with someone who might benefit is a simple and meaningful way to support the show so that we may continue to offer it for free. Now, take a slow, gentle breath and let's begin tonight's story.
I'm so happy you've joined me this evening, dear friend. My name is Owen Thorne, and I'd like to welcome you to a place of soft whispers and gentle dreams. Tonight, we will step into Rapunzel's world, just as spring begins to stir, exploring a tranquil tower high above the rolling fields below. Before we drift into that peaceful realm, I invite you to settle into your comfortable space, letting each breath you take fill you with calm and warmth. Feel the day's cares melt away, replaced by a quiet, comforting hush that invites you to simply be. Breathe in, breathe out, letting tranquility guide you towards serenity. Listen to the gentle rise and fall of your breath, noticing how the air feels cool as it enters and warm as it leaves. Imagine any tension in your body dissolving, like a soft mist under the morning sun, drifting away until your muscles feel light and relaxed. Soon, we'll float into the story of Rapunzel's tower, where a gentle breeze carries hints of spring blossoms and the promise of new beginnings. There, you'll find a slow and soothing space filled with kind light, soft echoes, and the delicate hush of a world awakening from winter's quiet slumber. Let us gently begin. High in a solitary stone tower, Rapunzel woke to the first soft glow of dawn. The winter's chill still clung to the air, yet there was a promise of warmth in the gentle rays that crept through the tall, narrow window. Each day, she noticed subtle changes in the light, sensing that spring was drawing closer. In the quiet hush of her room, she stirred beneath the blankets, her long, golden hair fanning out across the pillow, like sunbeams caught in a gentle embrace. Outside, a mild breeze drifted across the landscape, stirring the first buds on the distant trees and carrying with it the faintest fragrance of new beginnings. She rose slowly, giving her shoulders a gentle roll to loosen any lingering sleepiness. The tower's stone floor felt cool beneath her feet, but she found comfort in the soft rug that spread across it like a patch of moss in a hidden forest. The old wooden furniture in the room seemed to stretch and sigh along with her, as though sharing in her morning awakening. The hush of this high place allowed every subtle sound to be heard: her footsteps, the soft rustle of her nightgown, and the gentle creak of the wicker chair by the window. Before the day began, she stood at the window to gaze out over the fields. A narrow stream sparkled below, winding through banks of frost-kissed grass. Thin clouds drifted across the pale sky, blushing pink in the dawn's first light. Rapunzel gently closed her eyes, inhaling the crisp, cool air, and imagining she could feel the breeze dancing around her, whispering secrets of springtime to her eager heart. Quietly, she thanked the morning for its gentle promise, then turned toward her day's soft rhythm. In the center of the tower room, a wooden table stood adorned with a simple vase of dried flowers from the previous autumn. Though their colours had faded, Rapunzel kept them as a cherished memory of days gone by, a reminder that new blossoms would soon replace the old. As she smoothed her hand across the table's well-worn surface, she felt the faint ridges left by years of careful use, each groove telling a quiet tale of mornings and evenings spent in peaceful solitude. Her gaze shifted to a small pile of books arranged neatly in one corner. Each binding was worn from countless readings, and many pages were creased at the corners, marking places she loved to revisit. Their stories were like companions, offering comfort during winter's long nights and stirring her imagination with dreams of far-off forests, sparkling rivers, and cheerful villages bustling with life. Within those volumes, she had found quiet reassurance. In tales of travellers and brave souls finding their way through gentle lands, Rapunzel discovered reflections of her own hopes. Even though her tower life was still and unhurried, her heart roamed free with every turn of the page, carried upon words like leaves on a stream. She pictured the coming season as one of transformation, when the once snowy fields would burst with colour, and the whisper of the breeze would strengthen into a welcoming song. With a soft sigh, she turned to the window again, letting the early morning light envelop her, warmed by the gentle promise of day. Far below the tower, the landscape was stirring in its own slow dance towards spring. Patches of snow still glimmered where the sun's warmth had not yet touched. Small birds began to venture out of hidden nooks, fluttering to and fro with quiet excitement. A solitary robin perched upon a branch, tilting its head as though listening for the delicate pulse of the earth. The gentle wind, carrying a faint hint of blossoms not yet unfurled, caressed the walls of the tower, whistling a soft lullaby. Inside, Rapunzel prepared a simple breakfast, humming a lullaby she'd known since childhood. The stone fireplace in the corner radiated gentle warmth, dispelling the last traces of winter's chill. She set out a small bowl of oats and a cup of sweetened tea, savouring each bite and sip as though they were tiny gifts from a kind universe. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting the comfortable scent of home fill her senses, grateful for the familiar anchor of her daily routine. When her meal was finished, she moved around the tower with unhurried grace. She gently brushed her hair, allowing the golden strands to fall like ribbons of sunlight around her shoulders. With each soft stroke, she listened to the faint rustling of the fibres, as though they were weaving a lullaby of their own. In the background, the breeze found its way through the narrow window slit, rustling the pages of her books and sending a delicate shiver through the dried flowers in their vase. By midday, the sunlight had grown stronger, illuminating the tower's upper walls with a soft golden glow. Dust motes danced in the beams, creating a gentle tapestry of shimmering light that shifted with each subtle current of air. Rapunzel found herself drawn to the window more often, lingering there to watch as the fields gradually embraced the season's change. Although patches of snow and frost remained, she could almost see the grass stirring beneath, eager to burst forth in soft greens. In a quiet corner of her thoughts, she wondered about the wider world beyond, where townsfolk might be welcoming the same gentle sun and feeling the same stirring of hope in their hearts. As the afternoon progressed, she tended to her potted plants, a few small herbs and a delicate lily she had nursed through the cold months. Water trickled gently from her pitcher, and she took great care to offer each leaf a soothing touch. These plants were her companions, thriving under her attentive kindness. She whispered soft words to them, imagining they could sense her warmth and gratitude. Even the lily's pale bud seemed to straighten at the sound of her voice, as though reaching toward an invisible light. Now and then, a gentle breeze would flutter through the window, brushing her cheeks like the softest of kisses. She paused to listen, imagining it carried messages from the world below. Stories of children laughing, of morning dew glistening on tiny buds, and of hopes awakening in every hidden corner. As evening approached, the sunlight took on a softer hue, bathing the tower walls in pale gold. Rapunzel lit a small lantern, its flickering glow mingling with the day's fading light. She found a quiet corner near the fireplace to sit, and there she opened one of her beloved books. The pages crinkled gently as she turned them, and she paused now and then to drink in the words as if savouring a sweet melody. This time, she chose a story about a wandering minstrel who travelled through forests and meadows, guided by the songs of nature, discovering little wonders at every turn. As she read, the lines on the page wove themselves into gentle images in her mind. She imagined the minstrel walking through dappled sunlight, strumming a harp that echoed the rustling leaves overhead. Now and then, he would pause to admire a newly bloomed flower, or share a quiet moment with a woodland creature. The warmth of his heart guided him, and in his wanderings, he found joy in simple truths. A breeze that lifted his spirits, a soft patch of moss to rest upon, and the soft glow of twilight that heralded the night. Rapunzel closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the minstrel's gentle contentment echo in her own heart. The tower might be still and solitary, but in the quiet she discovered a beautiful harmony. She let herself drift upon these thoughts, allowing the last of the daylight to slip away, replaced by the lantern's cozy glow. The night sky arrived like a velvety curtain strewn with starlight. A pale moon rose above the horizon, casting its gentle beams across the land. Rapunzel stood at her window once more, gazing upon the silvery fields below. In the distance, tiny specks of light hinted at quiet dwellings, each containing its own story of contentment and rest. The breath of the wind was softer now, less playful but still steady, as if guiding the world into a peaceful slumber. Inside the tower, the lantern's warm glow reached only so far, leaving soft shadows to dance along the walls. Rapunzel felt a gentle tiredness settle upon her. She smoothed her hair, then gathered it into a loose braid, each motion slow and unhurried. On the windowsill, a small candle flickered, its flames swaying like a tiny dancer amidst the hush of the night. She took a moment to close her eyes and listen to the subtle rustle of her long braid against her nightgown, to the faint crackle of the fireplace, and to the far-off sigh of the evening breeze. She sensed that the land itself was breathing, inhaling the promise of spring and exhaling the remains of winter. Standing there, she felt a connection with the sleeping earth. All around her, a comforting stillness spread, wrapping her in a soft embrace that whispered of rest and renewal. For a moment, she imagined tiny seeds beneath the soil, stirring in the moonlight, ready to awaken when the time was right. The quiet promise of a fresh season soothed her heart, guiding her gently toward sleep. Rapunzel turned from the window and padded softly across the room. She placed the half-burned candle on a small table, thinking of the gentle day she'd experienced. Though her world felt small, it was filled with subtle wonders that brought her joy. She remembered the sight of the robin perched in the morning light, the promise held in the green shoots emerging beneath the melting snow, and the lullaby of the breeze that had accompanied her through each hour. Her heart felt light, as though it, too, had caught the breeze and learned to sing of spring. She opened the drawer of a simple wooden chest, taking out a small cloth embroidered with flowers. Spreading it upon her bed, she ran her fingertips over the delicate threads, recalling the day she had stitched them in the quiet of winter's hush. Each tiny petal represented the spark of life waiting to bloom, a gentle reminder that newness is born even in the stillness of deep cold. Tonight, as the moonlight and lantern glow mingled in her tower chamber, she felt that same renewal stirring within her. Outside, a cluster of stars blinked in unison, as if acknowledging her quiet reflection. It seemed that the whole world was waiting, hushed yet hopeful, for the gentle dawn that would arrive again. With a serene smile, Rapunzel carefully folded the cloth and set it aside, carrying the promise of early spring deep within her heart. The hush of the night embraced her, reminding her that growth begins in these tender moments of stillness. Later that night, in the quiet sanctuary of her room, Rapunzel prepared for rest. She extinguished the lantern flame, letting the moonlight become her only guide. Shadows wavered gently across the floor, and the silver glow lent a tranquil hush to every corner of the tower. She pulled back the covers of her bed, which beckoned with soft linens and a promise of peace. In that sacred silence, she allowed herself to reflect on the day's small miracles, subtle yet profound, in the stillness of her solitary life. As she settled under the blankets, her hair spread around her like a warm cascade, bringing a gentle sense of comfort. The air was cool against her cheeks, but beneath the covers she felt cocooned in safety. A distant owl hooted softly, a lonely guardian of the night, and its call seemed to echo the rhythms of her own steady heartbeat. The tower's stones, centuries old, cradled her with quiet acceptance, bearing witness to countless evenings just like this one, peaceful, still, and full of anticipation for the world's slow awakening. In that dim glow, she whispered a silent goodnight to the day's gentle wonders. Tomorrow the sun would rise once more, carrying the sweet breath of spring upon its rays. But for now, she needed only to rest. She allowed her eyes to drift shut, surrendering to the lullaby of the breeze against the tower walls. Outside, the moon shimmered over the fields, and inside, Rapunzel's dreams unfurled like the petals she so lovingly awaited. Now, as you rest in the afterglow of Rapunzel's gentle day, feel your own breath growing slower and softer. Notice how your body sinks a little deeper into comfort with each quiet exhale. Let any lingering worries float away, as if carried by a whispering breeze beyond the tall tower walls. Picture the moonlight draping you in peaceful stillness, cradling you as it cradled her. This is a moment just for you, a safe and inviting space where thoughts fade and serenity grows. Allow the sense of renewal to flow through you, as fresh as the promise of early spring and as calm as the hush of a midnight sky. Sink into that quiet, knowing you are held and at ease. Breathe in and feel the serenity. Drift further now, dear traveller, letting each gentle breath guide you toward a place of deep, soothing rest. The world beyond is hushed, and the night sky watches over you with stars that twinkle like lanterns of comfort. Hear the soft echo of Rapunzel's peaceful tower, a steady heartbeat in the hush of darkness. Feel the blanket of quiet settle around you, a gentle guardian easing you into slumber. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere else you need to be. Simply float upon your breath and allow sleep to cradle you with its tender arms. Good night, dear traveller. Sleep well. I wish you sweet dreams, carried on the hush of a gentle breeze, a lullaby that guides your spirit into rest.